In the tumultuous era of pre-revolutionary Russia, one name stands out among the intriguing figures that shaped history. Known as the Mad Monk, he captivated and confounded the imperial family of Nicholas II, the last emperor of Russia. There are countless theories and rumors surrounding his peculiar but charming personality. His connections to the imperial family, his association to a sexual sect, and his double life as a holy peasant by day, and a sexual deviant by night have also caused non-stop stories that continue to intrigue to this day. Can you guess who he is? Join us as we take a closer look into the captivating story of this man, how he came to be one of the most enigmatic figures in history, and how his death is often seen as a factor that contributed to the downfall of the Romanov Empire and eventually the Russian Revolution. Born in Pokrovskoye, Siberia in 1869, Grigory Rasputin was a self-proclaimed holy man who gained prominence in the early 20th century. He claimed to have developed mystical skills at age 12, and although he went to school, he remained illiterate. After adolescence, he earned the surname Rasputin for his actions including drinking, seducing women, engaging in violence, theft, and rape. Rasputin is derived from the Russian for debauched one. He evidently experienced some sort of religious epiphany at age 18, and went to the monastery at Verkhocha, where he was introduced to the Klisti. He didn't actually become a monk, and his association with the Klisti played a significant role in shaping his reputation as a morally dubious figure. The Klistis were known for their unorthodox religious practices, including ecstatic rituals, asceticism, and the belief that spiritual transcendence could be attained through self-flagellation and sexual activities. The Klistis' emphasis on self-mortification and their open acceptance of sexual practices set them apart from mainstream religious institutions of the time. Their rituals involved singing, dancing, and engaging in orgiastic behaviors in the pursuit of spiritual ecstasy. Rasputin left the monastery, returned to Pokrovskoye, and at age 19 married Praskovia Fyodorovna Dubrovina, who later bore him 4 children. Marriage did not settle him, as he left home and wandered to Mount Athos, Greece, and Jerusalem. He lived off the peasants' donations, and started gaining a reputation as a self-proclaimed holy man with the ability to predict the future and heal the sick. Around 1903, Rasputin arrived in St. Petersburg near a Russian court that was deeply interested in the esoteric and the occult. Rasputin, with a dirty, scruffy appearance combined with charisma, proclaimed himself to be a wandering mystic. He was warmly welcomed to court after being introduced by members of the church and the aristocracy, who were looking for holy men of common stock. Rasputin was perfect for this, and in 1905 was introduced to the imperial family, the Romanovs. In 1908 he was summoned to the palace of Nicholas II and Alexandra to relieve their hemophiliac son Alexei. Rasputin succeeded in easing the boy's suffering, and upon leaving the palace, warned the Tsar and Tsarina that the destiny of both the child and the dynasty were irrevocably linked to him. The royals, desperate on behalf of their son, felt indebted to Rasputin and allowed him permanent contact. This set in motion a decade of Rasputin's powerful influence over the political and social affairs of the Russian Empire. During the next few years, Rasputin lived something of a double life. In the presence of the royal family, Rasputin consistently maintained the posture of a humble and holy peasant, but outside court, he was back to his former immoral habits. Preaching that physical contact with his own person had a purifying and healing effect, he acquired mistresses and attempted to seduce many women, including noble women. He was also drinking heavily and consorting with prostitutes. When accounts of Rasputin's conduct reached the ears of Nicholas II, the Tsar refused to believe that he was anything other than a holy man, and remove some of his accusers from their positions of influence, even sending some of them into exile. By 1911, Rasputin's behavior had become so scandalous that the Prime Minister, P.A. Stolypin, sent the Tsar a report on Rasputin's misdeeds. As a result, the Tsar expelled Rasputin, but Alexandra had him returned within a matter of months. Nicholas, anxious not to displease his wife or endanger his son, upon whom Rasputin had an obviously beneficial effect, chose to ignore further allegations of wrongdoing. Rasputin reached the apex of his power at the Russian court in 1915 when the Tsar left to oversee the army in the First World War. The Tsar left Alexandra in charge of Russia's internal affairs, while Rasputin served as her personal advisor. Rasputin's influence was now so great he was more than simply the Tsarina's advisor, and he began to appoint and fire people to and from positions of power, including the cabinet. He appoints church officials to the selection of cabinet ministers who are often incompetent opportunists, and he occasionally intervened in military matters to Russia's detriment. This created massive opposition to Rasputin and undermined the entire ruling Romanov regime. Rasputin had a large following and hundreds would come to see him. Even his blackened fingernail clippings were taken as relics. They wanted his magical powers for their ills and his powers over the Tsarina for more earthly issues. He was a legend across Russia, and they bought him many gifts. There were several attempts on Rasputin's life, including a stabbing, but they failed. It was not until 1916, when supporters of the autocracy, including a prince, a Grand Duke and a member of the Duma joined forces to kill the mystic and save the government from any further embarrassment. In December 1916, this group of nobles lured him to a meeting at Prince Yusupov's house, where he was given a poisoned meal, but he failed to die immediately. Undeterred, the conspirators shot him, beat him, and ultimately bound him and threw him into the icy Neva River. He was twice buried and dug up, before being cremated by a roadside. Rasputin's death did not mark the end of the Romanov dynasty's troubles, in fact, it foreshadowed the approaching storm of revolution. Kerensky, a man who led the provisional government in 1917 after the revolution replaced the Tsar, said that without Rasputin there would have been no Lenin, the first and founding head of government of Soviet Russia. This was among the other causes of the Russian Revolution. The Romanov rulers weren't just overthrown, but executed by the Bolsheviks in 1918, falling as Rasputin had predicted. That's it for today on Curious Gate. Please remember to subscribe and click on the bell for notifications so you don't miss when we upload new content. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious.